Hello and welcome to Access Some Places Mailbag edition. I'm a bit closer today. We sort of get a little bit more intimate because we're doing a mailbag episode. Those who have been around for a while will remember we did a NBA one with Josh Lloyd being our lovely mail assistant. But today we have the real Lloyd, Matty Lloyd, coming in to help us out here. Yeah, we're going to answer some questions. I've got a Red Bull to drink or a non-disclosed drink of caffeine. So we'll be sipping on that because we've got a whole lot of questions to answer today. I'm gonna we actually have an intro song today. I've just picked one. Shout outs to Matt Cherney. So when that plays, I'm gonna get right into it. So here we go. Play that tune. A little bit of fade out there. It was a bit of a manual transition. Alrighty, I'm just trying to fix my lighting, but it's just kind of fucked, so that's alright. We usually record at night, so it's easier to get the lighting correct. But yeah, hope you all can hear me well. Thanks for watching the first episode of the pod of the Redux. We got to 50 views, which was great. We could have got to more, but I forgot to put a trending sound on my TikTok about that big trade news, which we might cover a bit later. But yeah, shout outs to the new content, and hopefully from there we'll grow our brand. There will be more coming next week, including the return of the fan favorite Jesus Isaac as my co-host. So let's get into these questions. Question 1: why you like this? It's not a very nice question to start the whole fucking. Why am I like this? Because I love to be in front of the camera. I love to entertain. I love to be in the spotlight. I love to talk shit. And I thought, why am I like this? I don't know. I enjoy the theater, the theatric of it. Yeah, and because of that, I decided to create a podcast, and because of that, I am able to talk shit to people who listen to me. So that's why I'm like this, because I enjoy communication and the public eye, I guess, most of the time. Otherwise, I'm very anxious about small things, like booking flights and stuff. But that's for I don't know what the YouTube equivalent, it's not the silver screen or whatever, but whatever this screen is, I love it. That's why I'm like this. Great start. Give me your top 5 players the last 10 years. Thanks, Ben. I did want to do a bit more research on this because this is really fucking testing how much of a nuff I am. Dangerfield, I reckon he's up there with his best pal Selwood. I don't know if Gary Ablett Jr. counts because he might just be phased out of this decade window now they're in 2023. I don't want to say Dusty, but he's got 2 premierships, couple norms. Even though he stole Basho Hooley's norm that 1 year, I'd say maybe Dusty's been in that top 5. Fife, I'll put Fife in there as well. So not recently, but I think overall he has sort of been in that top 5. And Buddy, not in any particular order, but that would be probably the top 5 in the last 10 years. Would be Buddy Franklin, Nat Fife, Dangerfield. Who was I saying? Selwood and the other guy I said. Dangerfield, Selwood, Buddy, Fife, Dusty. Sure. Honorable mention. I don't even know what my honorable mention would be. I was going to make some Bombers joke, but I haven't got one because it's merit. Nick Martin. Nick Martin will be the top 5 player in the next 10 years. There you go. There's my shoehorn. Next question. Who was the worst jersey in the comp? Who has the best jersey in the comp? I think the worst jersey in the comp might be the Bulldogs. I think there's a lot going on and a lot of noise, but not a lot of structure. What do they say? A lot of words, but not a lot of thoughts. also, I think maybe even like the Tigers and the Bombers, just having a sash with a color is a bit shit. I'm talking just general jerseys, home and away jerseys. I'm not really talking like, you know, if I was talking all time, I would have too many jerseys to pick from, and that would have the best jersey in the comp would be the classic retro Frio with the green. Incredible. Bring that back. Bring that back. Frio stocks go right up. Best jersey in the comp. I actually don't mind like the West Coast kit. The Saners kit's pretty good. As I said, the Saners kit's kind of has that old Frio vibe to it with just the way it's all lined out. But again, they're kind of just colors. I'm thinking more of the emblem in that sense. Um, yeah, worst jersey. Let's just go the Dogs. I think there's a lot going on that doesn't really land. And the best kit was probably, yeah, I don't know, West Coast maybe, or um, Gold Coast one kind of sucks. GWS one kind of sucks. Yeah, hope that answers your question. I did add a optional from about a couple of questions in. I should make it mandatory for the next time around because some people don't like to put their questions in. Thoughts on Bailey Banfield? Young gun, father son from Rio, plays in the midfield, gets listed here and there. I think he is. Look, I reckon he's not feeling the shoes of his dad, Drew Banfield. I feel like he has a lot to prove, and he's got that father son chip on his shoulder. Unlike Mason Fletcher, who went to go kick for Kentucky instead of playing the fucking football game he's supposed to. I'll never forgive him for that. Yeah, Bailey Banfield, I think he's doing all right. I don't know what his stats are these days. Did he play last week? Is he still playing? I don't know if he's still. I think he's still playing out there. Let's have a look. Oops, I've opened the fantasy app instead. Let's go into last game real quickly. Rio Richmond. Banfield. He was subbed off with a 9. So yeah, he's not feeling the shoes he should. I think his dad played 260 games or something like that. Ben, you'll know. Fact check me there. I reckon he needs to up his game to be the hero that Freo want. Eyepatch. What happened to Eyepatch? You've got about 10 questions in here, and I'm pretty sure I know who you are. What happened to Nick Cox? Is he all right? Is he okay? Is he all right? Nick Cox has like a back fracture. I think he's been out for about a year. Prior to that, he was dropped, and I think he was playing about because of his injury. I don't think there is, he didn't fall off the cliff that on the pedestal that we all put him on. I still reckon he'll be great. He will be the best Cox in the league once he comes back. I think he's a couple weeks away. Don't know if he's playing in the VFL yet, and if not, he'd be a couple weeks from the VFL from now. I just think, yeah, he's that unicorn that we want. Shout outs to the unicorns, by the way. Come down to Vic Park on the old bar unicorns. Come back down to Vic Park on the 24th of June. I think we have a midday game. Come down and support your troops. Yeah, Nick Cox, the unicorn, I think he will be all right. He's just fucked back because he's so tall and athletic and perfect. And then he'll be back into form, and we will see some good things from him coming. Thanks for the question, iPatch, and thanks for answering your name. Here's another one. Who's better duo, Track and Oliver or Parrish and Merritt? Now, I feel like there's a bit of a bait here. We all know I'm a Bombers man. The other thing I'm going to blindly say, Parrish and Merritt because they're Dons. But I think Track and Oliver are the better duo. We all know that Parrish and Merritt are a bit of a handball merchandisers, and because of that, they get a lot of stats and not a lot of ground. That was sort of the issue last year that we had. That Parrish would drop 40, but what would he do with it? If I was going to rank these 4 players as a bonus answer, I'd probably say currently, even though Oliver's out, Merritt, Clary, Parrish, and Track, because I hate Petrarca. Parrish is also out. He's been out for about a month. And he's not really fitting in his side. So I genuinely, my genuine footy non-fuck Petrarca or yes Dons, I'd probably go Clary, Merritt, or maybe even Merritt Clary at the moment. And then Track Parrish. Parrish is out. He's chatting to his agent. Speaking of trade news, he might go to the Roos. He might wander on down to the Roos, and because they'd benefit from a quick midfielder. and we can pick up Ben Mackay, trade a midfielder for a big backman. I don't know. If it comes to fruition, you know where you heard it first. At Access some places. I think, yeah. So that's it. Track Oliver is the answer. That's the duo. Tomato sauce in the fridge or pantry? Great question, iPatch. Tomato sauce is in the pantry. Most condiments are in the pantry. Some are in the fridge. Put my mayo in the fridge, of course. You have to. My Kewpie mayo. Shout out to Kewpie. Goat condiment, I'd say. But my mustard, my tomato sauce, my barbecue sauce, my chili sauce, Tabasco sauce, all the while. My jalapeno Tabasco, all in the pantry. Just, I think it's the way to be. I've always been a pantry sourced person from the day I was born, and I will stay that way. Yeah, that's your answer. In the pantry. Great question. Do you need me to feed the cats this weekend? No, thanks. That's all good. Appreciate the offer. I'll be able to get home today to feed the cats once I'm out, and then tomorrow I'll be able to feed them in the morning and then the evening. Appreciate the offer, and thanks for your question. Thanks for tuning in. What round will you draft CP3? I won't. I've learnt my lesson quite astutely. I mean, no, I haven't. I never never learn my lessons, but I will not be drafting CP3. Here, for those unaware that are just here on the footy side of things, CP3 is Chris Paul III, and he's basketballer. He's a little basketballer, little point guard. Good in his heyday, still pretty good. Not as good now. And yeah, that's for our super coach side of this podcast. But no, I won't be drafting him, is the short answer. Unless he drops. Which colour Gatorade is the best? iPatch again. Lo and behold, goat flavour is the clear colour, which is the watermelon flavour. Watermelon Gatorade, it's the best. Nothing competes with that. It's just watermelon Gatorade, daylight, probably like orange, and then red then blue, and green's probably above orange. Red and blue just kind of sit kind of weirdly, but the watermelon one is so delicious. It's hydration in liquid form, but like extra hydration, not just like regular water hydration. Yeah, watermelon is the best flavor there. From Dilio, would you like to double your bet with Dilio that the D's won't make finals to 100? Let me just check the ladder. No, I'd like to keep my on at 50 for once the D's drop out of the 8. Thank you, Dilio, for your question. Submit your question below. No, that's my prompt. You can choose one player right now to build your midfield around. Bont, Track, or Parrish. Who do you select from Scams? Again, I think there's another Bombers bait here. I would pick Marcus Bontempelli. I think he's got the height on the two of them. I think he's in great form. As I said in my last question, Darcy Parish is he's fallen away a little bit since they've changed the structure from just handballs in the Bombers. Track's a fucking downhill skier. Oh, here's the intern. And what do you reckon? What do we think of Track? Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Nebby, who would you build your midfield around? Well, to be honest, Parish. He hasn't want to talk about it. All right, you almost plugged my headphones out. Please tell me this works. Yeah, Marcus and Christian are too worried about their ad campaigns. We all know that. And Parish is, the honest one to play footy. So I would like him as if it was builded around in a leadership space of let's focus on the footy instead of how much money we're making off fucking MasterChef or TikTok. Like, fuck, Truck has got like a cooking TikTok now. Shut the fuck up. And Bontempelli, he does all of his ads and he's just there for the media. Bont shows up for the game for the post-game interview. We all know it, but he is the better pick out of these three to kind of have a midfield built around him. Great question, Scamps. Appreciate it. Who wins, Collingwood or the Nuggets? I like this question. Let's expand this question a bit. Basketball, the Nuggets. AFL, the Pies. Golf would be a great matchup between the two of them. I'd like to see a golf game against the Pies and the Nuggets. NFL, I'd say the Nuggets. I know Collingwood play AFL, which is practically NFL, but I don't think they know the rules. And because they don't know the rules, I reckon they will be a bit flustered there. And Aaron Gordon's run down that wide receiver, getting fucking 75-yard passes from Jokic like it's nothing, and Jamal Murray's out the other side, running through. Um, that would be sick. Hennis, I'm imagining the Dacos brothers taking on Jokic and Jamal Murray in a game of tennis. I reckon the Dacos brothers win that, so that's a good matchup. But if you had maybe like Steele and Pendles against Jokic and Jamal, or KCP and Aaron Gordon. Well, Aaron Gordon's not very good with the tennis racket, I don't think. Um, yeah, and maybe like swimming. I think in a swimming contest, the players win. If we did a full Olympics, I'd say it'd be very close, but like a custom Olympics when there's golf and tennis and stuff involved. Great question. This would be a great sit down around the fire question of yeah. Chuck in the comments if you reckon the Pies and the Nuggets would win, and what sport you'd like to see them play in. Next question. Who had higher potential, Scott Gumbleton or Jane Eagle from my patch? Look, I'll be real with you. I reckon Jane Eagle had the higher potential. I just feel like his height let him down. Scott Gumbleton, he had the strength and he had the speed and he was there, but Jane Eagle I think he was just a bit short. He lost a couple inches he didn't have that really would have boosted his game and really launched him into the stratosphere of his sport. I think potential wise, Jane Eagle had the high potential. He's just a bit shorter. If that was you could have fixed that, he'd been a lot better. Unfortunately, you can't fix it, but grow taller. But Gumbleton did have his strength to be fair. Great question. What's your silly drink at the bar? I love this question. I think my silly drink at the bar, if I'm acting silly, is Fireball. Yeah. What my silly drink order is, I don't know. Like, not a Long Island iced tea. The ABC shot's just another shot. Otherwise, I'm on the beers or the vodka lime sodas or the vodka raspberries or the, vodka Red Bulls. I reckon it's Fireball. Full stop Fireball. I reckon that's my silly drink because it makes me silly and very drunk. How many egg is one egg? 1 or 40. If you know, you know. 1 egg is 40. What is the name of your first pet? The name of my first pet is Flopsy. Flopsy was a white rabbit who we got from our neighbor, who grew to be blind with our chickens that we eventually got later. Lived with the chickens, cataracts over her eyes, lived a very happy life with the chickens until she didn't wake up one morning. Flopsy, yeah, love Flopsy. She's a real one. So shout out to her. She probably died 20 years ago now. What's your dream job as a child? Now, I know what these questions kind of look like. They kind of sound like security questions, but that's okay. What was your dream job as a child? Bit of a wholesome hour on the questions here. I get told a lot that back when I was a kid, my dream job was to move the furniture. That is 100% truth. You can ring my dad. Back when we were moving into our family home, I think I was helping, and I was like, when I grow up, I want to move the furniture. Funnily enough, I've moved house a couple of times. I don't like it myself, but I love helping people move. I love going over and giving them a hand, lifting a couple of things, being helpful. So in a way, I'm doing, I fulfill. Oh, this Red Bull. I fulfill my dreams of my kid, of kid me, who it's not quite a job, but I get paid in beers. So that counts. That's work. So dream job as a child was to move the furniture. And I would love to, would be sick to run a removalist or moving gig with the boys, bit of a men with vet. But thanks for the question. Bit of a wholesome questions there. From Anonymous, who is this Fance guy and why is he going through my rubbish bin? Interesting question. Not sure how I can be of much help or whether it's in the context, but look, I kind of know who Fance is. I've seen him around the Supercoach areas, but he's got to feed his kids. I think he's gone through. I don't know what his Supercoach numbers are like these days, but I think the best way to stop him, how I stopped him, was he doesn't like direct sunlight. So that's why he goes to your rubbish bin at night. You'll find put a big floodlight in front over your bins, and he'll leave you alone. He's like a raccoon kind of. Um, who is he? Supercoach guy. We all, a couple of us know fans around this place, and don't know why he's going to your rubbish bin. You probably need something to eat. Name a country in Africa starting with K. D's nuts from Dilio. Kenya. Kenya fucking suck these nuts, Dilio. Next question is from your local neighborhood fans. What's your question, fans? My wife left me last year because my Supercoach team was underperforming. Sorry to hear that, mate. I'm currently living in my mother's basement in a single bed and I've been eating nothing but frozen meals. I'm hoping Will Gould will return and restore hope in my marriage. I hope I see my kids, Ablett Junior, and Ablett Junior again. This isn't a question. I just needed someone to talk to. That's all right, fans. Sometimes you needed to yell out, and this is a space to do so. I'd probably suggest not going through people's bins. I'm not sure if you're the same fans as that other question, but yeah, hope you get some good frozen meals. Will Good will come through. I'll be praying for you, and you can see your kids again. But thanks for the question or lack of question. But yeah, no, access some places. We're always here for fellas like yourself. Just reach out if you need to in the future. Why do I still pay for Supercoach? Austin, why do you still pay for Supercoach? It's because you're a hack. We all know it. I still have access to Supercoach Gold because I've been sponsored, because I'm in the footy media. That's what happens when I get a media pass. Why you still pay for Supercoach, Austin? Don't know. It's good that you're starting to reflect on this, and because you're a hack. You're a goddamn hack, and that's why. And you need to cheat your way to the top of the ladder this season. I hope you don't make the flag. Power to you. The Trav beat you last week, and you were like, "Oh, is this such a big deal?" Yes, it is. If you've won 10 in a row and you lose, that's a big deal. Don't care if you were in bye round. We're all in bye rounds, mate. That's how it works. We're all in the same league. Dilio didn't turn it off. But anyway, I digress. Why do you still play for Supercoach? Is because you're a hack. Next question. Thanks, Austin. Anyway, yeah, hope your dreams are doing all right. Thoughts on Damien Barrett as a footy journo from my patch again? Look, I reckon Damien Barrett's not here nor there. I think he is too small for his suit, both metaphorically and physically. I reckon I'd fit his suit better, but that's just, that's how it is. I'd be great next to Lloydie. I feel like he's on the fence or he's safe. And he will just he won't push the pencil until it snaps, but he will slide the doors where he needs to and take the safe road a lot of the times. And because of that, I feel like he's an all right footy journo. There are a lot worse out there, but he could either be more risky or he can just admit that he's kind of safe. So he's on the fence and could go either way, but I think he has to go either way, or he's just not doing anything here. But at the end of the day, final sentence would be, I think he's too small for his suit. Great question, iPatch. From the RBA, are you expecting interest rates to drop or rise again? I think the trend of the interest rates will be rise, drop, rise, drop, housing market crash. Hope that helps. How do I play footy good? Patrick Cripps. Well, Patrick, when you're playing the Bombers in a sold-out G, and there's one kid out in that crowd who has you've got 19 disposals in the fourth quarter, game's over. Game shouldn't have been over because you could have tried, but you haven't tried. And there's a kid out there that needs one more disposal for his multi, and he's yelling at you from Q1, row L, up the back, 7 from the back of the breaches, and you're not even looking at the ball. You're running the opposite direction of the ball. That's not how you play footy good. How you play footy good is honesty. Now, you think that when you won that Brownlow and you played, 21 games that season? I'd have to check. Someone fact check me how many games you played that season. Did you play footy good those seasons? Probably. You got the Brownlow votes. But when you were standing there in the tribunal, when you were reported, and you should have lost that week, were you honest then, Patrick Cripps? I don't think you were. Because there are Brownlow medalists out there, like Joe Watson, who had to hand his medal back, and you're out there parading around with your medal. That's not honest footy. That's not good footy. So, Cripper, have a good hard look at yourself. get 20 disposals in the game, for God's sakes, and hand your Brownlow back. And once you do that, I think you'll feel that the guilt will be off your shoulders, off that taped up shoulder, and you can start playing good footy. And as to quote this image I found last night, dine on my succulent behind. Patrick, I think that's what it said. Dear Cripper, please dine upon my succulent bum. There you go. That's what I think of. That's how you play good footy, Patrick Chris. Thanks for reaching out to the pod, though. I hope you'd love to come on one day. Hi, friend. Long-time listener, first-time questioner. I'm confident of the Dons making top 4. How do you rate their chance of making top 2? Surely a couple of home finals, and we're destined to break the finals win curse. A little red and black. Hey, going? Shout out. Boom. Bomber, former fan. Top 2, not going to happen, mate. I'm just as a hopeless romantic as you with the Bombers, but we're not making top 2. I'd love a home final, but if the Pies can hold on to their first and we can take 4th, I am not confident on top 4. I am hopeful for top 4. But if we get 4th, Pies get back into first, then we have a 1 versus 4 at the G, which is pretty much a home final. I know we're home at the Marvel, but it'd be the same. It'd be way better than going over Adelaide and playing Port, which will be fucked. Otherwise, we go into that 6, 7, 8 space, or 5 to 8 space, play the Crows or Freo, or we end up playing the Ds, and we can beat the Ds at the G, which would also be great. So it's technically a home final. But yes, we're going to win the final. We're going to break the finals curse this year. I'm fucking praying. Go the Dons, and shout out. Keep listening. Keep commenting. Love your stuff. This is our year. We might not win on the flag, but we're going to win a final. Oh, I'm going to cry. Next question. G'day, Jash. Just wondering if you knew when the cutoff was for lodging my tax return. Love the show, by the way. Keep it up, son. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate your question. I think you've got about 8 to 12 months after your financial year ends to lodge your tax return. I'm pretty sure a notification comes out to you if you have not done it by then. I know I always do mine a bit late. I should get on top of it. But if not, I think it's a bit of it's not illegal if you don't get caught. Catch my drift. That's not financial advice. But I think it's still, the tax money still sits there. And whether you got to pay it or receive it. But yeah, I think it's about 8 to 12 months. Great question, Brian. Appreciate your input. Genuine thoughts on Kane Corns. All right, let me take a sip of water here. My genuine thoughts on Kane Corn is I don't have any. I don't know who he is. I don't. He's just one of the nameless colleagues in the AFL media that I am. I know that everyone else knows who he is, but I don't. I know what he looks like, kind of. I'm pretty sure I've seen him on some betting ad, or I've seen him somewhere. I've seen his name thrown around, but I can't genuinely collect my thoughts into what my opinion is on Kane Collins. I think he is just one of the fellas out there. I've heard he's a hack. Look, some people have been saying that I should have his job. That's what people have been saying out there. I haven't been saying it because I haven't got an opinion on it. But there's been people out there been saying that I should have his job. And he's a hack. But he throws a lot of unestablished opinions out there. Bit different to Damien Barrett, who's a bit on the fence. But yeah, genuine thoughts on Kane Collins is I don't have any. Great question, though. Appreciate you pitting us against our colleagues. Next question. Who do you model your game on? From iPatch. I model my game on an honest flanker. And look, some people think you're out there guarding grass, and that's true for a lot of it. Sometimes you have to cover that extra distance that people don't see you do. You got to do a lot of running up and down, especially if you're playing for the Corns and it's in our defensive backline the entire game and kick 1 goal for a year. Actually, I think we're about 5 goals this year. Anyway, yeah, I think some of the best flankers of the comp from all time. I'm not going to name any because there's just too many of them. But the role player flank is who I've modeled my game on. Bit of Marty Gleason in the back if I'm going to back flank. I run the number 8 for my boy. Yeah, short answer is Marty Gleason. Larger answer is just the great flankers of the comp, forward or back. Next question. Latinos, Persians, or Scandinavians by iPatch? A bit of a sidestep question. I think Latias is a cooler Pokemon than Persian. I think Persian's pretty cool considering they're just a cat. The Scandadile or whatever that one is, the Anaconda one, I don't really like. I think it's a new gen Pokemon I'm not a big fan of. But Persian or Latias, I think Latias is cooler just because they're a legendary. So I'm going to pick Latias. Great for your question. Appreciate some Pokemon content in here. Next question. Hey mate, Vance again here. How are you, Vance? I'm loving using this place as a Discord to be able to connect. This is what we're here for. Good to see you, Vance. From Scambler, Latinas or Slavic girls? Similar to last question, I think Latias is better than. Although Latios, I think, is the better. If I'm going to pick between Latios and Latias, I think Latios is cooler. I just think that Latios has that sort of hair thing, and I'm not a big fan of it. But Latios has, yeah, really cool. I sort of always pick. And as I said, I do pick the girl protagonist in Gen 3 and 4. I just think Dawn and May are great to sort of be the character of. But yeah, I think Latios is probably better than Latias in this case, just to expand on that previous question. A lot of Pokemon content today. Might have to start a third channel. For fans, hey mate, fans here again. Just went out to get some pizza, the super pepperoni over 1,000 slices. Anyway, I saw my wife and a mysterious man going out for dinner that night. I'm pretty sure it was that snitch from the west. I'd assume I have nothing to worry about as I'm the full package. I followed them home and heard some strange noises coming from the house I paid for. I'm sure they were playing Scrabble or something. Anyway, when's Will Goulding call up? Cheers. Thanks, Vance. I feel like we have a bit of a telenovela going on. You know, there's this other guy talking about Vance in their bins, and then Vance is in someone's bins, and in the frozen meals, they all end up with super pepperoni, 1,000 slices. That's a lot of slices. That's a lot of fucking slices. Good to see you got some confidence about you, saying you're the full package, and you got nothing to worry about. I agree. Scrabble, I don't think Scrabble is quite the loud noise game that you think it is. Trouble, however, if you've never played Trouble, that's a loud game. That's an exciting, exhilarating game. So they definitely play Trouble. Will Golding, he's coming any minute, mate. Don't worry about it. He is hold into Will Golding, and he will give you. I'm praying for you that he's going to give you the 85 in the draft and get you a 25,000 profit in Classic. Thanks for your question, fans, and I'd love to see you around. Who is a better coach tactically, Rodney Eade or Brenton Sanderson? I would like some data to back up your answer. All right, Patch. I don't have any data. Rocket Eade, I'm going to say, is the better coach because he took the Swans to the grand final. Brenton Sanderson didn't. I think Sanderson might have had more of that win-loss ratio might be in Sanderson's favor, question mark. But Rocket Eade also had to deal with coaching Gold Coast. So tactically, having to go coach Gold Coast is not really the best choice when you coach the Swans. So Rodney Eade would be my choice, and that's the best facts you can get. And our last question of the day, from the Phantom of the State Centre. More Phantoms. What's going on here? I'm hearing a lot of talk about the Nikola Jokic at the State Centre, but rumor is he's out with a finger injury. So let's not and ah about it. What I want to know from Jash Lloyd is, who's the Nikola Jokic of the AFL and why? Follow-up question, who's the anti-Jokic? The least Jokic player in the AFL? What a question. Yes, the Nikola Jokic of the State Centre is currently out with a finger injury. Hopefully he's back in a couple of weeks. Don't know if he'll be back to the basketball court. He might be a bit scared of breaking it again, but I know he'll be back to the football field within a month. Nikola Jokic at the State Centre is known for his the double nutmeg pass in the paint. For not seen around these parts. He's the premier of that move. Then the Jokic of the AFL is such an interesting question. Because he's kind of like double MVP centre, but it's kind of like a ruckman. If a ruckman wins a Brownlow and the norm at the same time. But, that's not happening. I don't think that's ever... I think it's happened in, the 80s. If that. I don't know how many ruckmans have run Brownlows. So I'm thinking tall... It could be Bont at the moment. It's a bit hard to translate, but Bont's tall. Bont's killing it. If the Dogs were better, and they were top of the ladder. Because like if you think about top of the ladder, like Port, they've got like Jixon and Slice It and Finlayson, but they're not Jokic. Like they're not Jokic tier. And the Pies have got like Mason Cox is big, but he's a fucking truck. Um, and yeah, the Dacos brothers aren't Jokic's. They're more like Jamal Murray's. Um, yeah, fuck, I don't know. The Bombers were better, and like Draper was getting Brownlow votes. Maybe Draper, because everyone loves Draper and everyone loves Jokic. But it's a really good question. Who the anti-Jokic is the Jokic player, like Will Snelling, because I fucking hate him and he's small. Caleb Daniel also very tiny compared to Jokic, who's large. But Caleb Daniel's not too bad in the midfield. Aaron Hall is quite the uncontested disposal merchant. He's had a couple of good games recently, but Aaron Hall might be the least Jokic player in the AFL because he's just kind of guarding grass out in the back, scoops up the low balls and kicks it away, and that's it. Not dropping massive stat lines. Also, Samson Ryan or what was his name? Finch. Who was the other guy that dropped donuts last week? Let's have a look. What was it? Last game. The Dogs. Not Baker. It was Baker? No. Jones. Artie Jones. Artie Jones or Samson Ryan are probably the least jokey, the anti Jokic because they dropped zeros, just flat zeros, absolute donuts. And yeah, but that is a great question. That is our last question of today. I'd really like some discourse about this. I reckon this is a great question, and this will spark some conversation. Chuck it down in the comments who you think is the Nikola Jokic of the AFL, either it's all time or currently, and who the least Jokic player is. But with that, I'm going to send you off. We ended up getting to 40 minutes again, so I hope you enjoyed the mailbag. 35 questions today. If your question didn't get answered, then it was a shit question, and I canned it. If you didn't get a chance to answer a question this time round, I'll do one maybe in the final series. I'll do another one in the end of the day. I love doing these. I love you getting to know me, and I love talking shit for 40 minutes by myself. New episode coming of Access New Places Season 2 this week with Isaac, aka Sheezers, coming back, fan favourite, to review this round of footy. Yeah, go the Bombers. I will see you later. Play the outro song. Continued. I don't know if it's playing. Oh, I've got to yeah, there we go. Oh, that button didn't work. Hang on.